Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you are doing well. As you could tell by the title of the video, we are going through my Game Week 21 wildcard team. If you are excited for this video, make sure you smash a thumbs up and a subscribe button to get all your fantasy information and tips ahead of the middle of the season. So let's get straight into it. We are going to jump straight into our goalkeepers. Kicking us off in net is Alphonse Areola. Again, as you can see, 4.2 million goalkeeper for us. The fixtures are kind of okay with Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Man United, Arsenal, Forest. What I've noticed with goalkeepers this year, guys, is it doesn't really matter who you go with. They're going to have different runs where they're going to return. We've seen Areola keep 3 clean sheets in a row. We've seen West Ham keep 4 because they had Fabianski playing in one of those games as well when Areola was injured. I just think 4.2 million locked in goalkeeper with a defense that's on form. I just think you need to lock in Areola. And the second goalkeeper I've got is Matt Turner. Again, 3.9 million. Whether he's going to be the starter long term, I'm not 100% sure. We've seen a little bit of Odysseys and Matt Turner play. I'd be a bit concerned with Matt Turner, but again, as a bench option, it's not the worst. It does enable us to have some extra money in the bank. If you are wanting to spend a little bit more money on this position, you could look at someone like a Leno at 4.7 million. Again, in a Fulham team when they have Raul Jimenez up and firing is a very, very good option. Otherwise, if you want to spend that little bit more money, I'd be recommending Emi Martinez. But Alphonse Areola is going to be our set and forget goalkeeper. Let's move on to the defense. Kicking off our defense is Gabriel, a defender that is looking really, really locked at the moment in the Arsenal defense. The only thing I can't show on this screen is the amount of minutes he's been playing, but what you can see is his previous form. He's only missed game week 10, game week 3, and then I think game week 1 he got dropped as well. Again, we all know Arsenal's defense statistically is still performing, although they're not keeping the clean sheets they did last year. I think with this warm weather training that Arsenal are going to do, that they're going to sort some things out and their defense should be able to get on top of the issues that they're having at the moment. And again, I think their attack's creating some of the problems for their defense. But Gabriel, left-sided centre-back for Arsenal, sitting in at 5 million. A lot of people would have got him around the 4.8, 4.7. I know I got back on him a few weeks ago and he's still going to be sitting in my team. Again, fixtures for Gabriel are solid. Crystal Palace at home is a great one. Nottingham Forest away is not too bad. Liverpool, they're going to want to get some revenge. But he's just a defender who you don't have to feel the necessity to play every week. I got caught in that trap where against Liverpool he actually scored at Anfield. I did bench him and Saliba. He does have a little bit of goal threat. You can see he's got an XG there of 0.06. He's not going to be a massive goal threat. He's only got the 1 goal so far this season, but I just think Arsenal are going to start playing some good football and we're going to want one of their pieces in their defense. The next defender for me is Kyle Walker. I'm getting my 2 non-attacking options out of the way first. I just think City are going to go on one of their runs where they just dominate, and part of the defense you're going to want is Kyle Walker, 5.4 million defender. The numbers aren't there. 0.02 XG, 0.1 XA. What I like about Kyle Walker, though, is he's getting into these positions up the pitch. You can see on his pitch map, he is getting to the byline. He is in dangerous areas. When Haaland is back fit and firing, I expect to see Kyle Walker putting crosses in. Again, Newcastle away, not the worst fixture at the moment. Then Burnley, Brentford, Everton, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Man United. Very, very nice run. Kyle Walker is locked in this defense. Again, he's missed game week 18. That was the team's blank. He missed game week 12 and game week 7, but you can see more often than not he's playing. He's getting his 2 points when they're conceding. I just think if you want a piece of the Man City defense, Kyle Walker is the most locked in. Let's move to a bit more of an exciting pick. Someone who most of us would have had at the start of the season. It's Purvis Estupiñán. For me, I think he's going to be absolutely locked in this Brighton team. You can see by his pitch map, he's practically playing as a left winger. They've gone into this diamond shape, which is giving Estupiñán so much space to operate in, and we're going to see that reflective in his numbers moving forward. So the numbers aren't there at the moment with regards to XG and XA because his minutes aren't back at 90, but we can see he's had back-to-back 6-pointers. He scored a goal in game week 19 from limited minutes, and then he played 90 minutes against West Ham just before the FA Cup break, and he did play in the Cup as well. So he's getting back up to fitness. He's got Wolves at home this week, which I don't think Brighton will keep a clean sheet in this game, but I could see him getting an attacking return. But where I want Pervis Estupiñán is for this run of Luton, Palace, Spurs, Sheffield, Everton, Fulham, Forest, before City, Liverpool and Brentford. But Pervis Estupiñán, if fit, is one of the best FPL defenders to have in the game. And at 4.9 million, I just don't think you can go past him whatsoever. Moving on to someone, again, similar play style to Estupiñán is Kieran Trippier. We all know that Newcastle have started to struggle. With Trent's injury, I think Trippier is almost a must-own at the moment, because if he can get some returns, then you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Do I think he's a great option over the next 2 weeks? No, but if you're wildcarding, you want him for this Luton, Forest, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Wolves, Chelsea, Palace, West Ham, Everton, Fulham, Spurs, Man United. You just want him for that whole run-in. His heat maps are just showing that he's going to get forward. I expect now, with no Champions League, with no Cup football, Newcastle playing 1 game a week, Kieran Trippier on set pieces, got some, not any goal threat right now, has a lot of creativity and a lot of expected assists and a lot of crosses, a lot of chances created. I expect Kieran Trippier to return into the new year for Newcastle. And our last defender is Pedro Porro. Look at this touch map. He's absolutely everywhere for Spurs. He scored a screamer in the Cup against Burnley. I feel like he's the type of player right now that just needs to play in your team. If you're going to play 3-5-2, 3-4-3, this team's set up in a 3-4-3. Pedro Porro needs to be one of those 3 each week. He's almost fixture-proof. 0.3 XA is fantastic from a fullback, but you can see just the areas that he picks up for Spurs. He's their main creative option right now. You know, no Son. We've got, you know, Richarlison and Werner. But Pedro Porro is going to be in these areas, taking shots, putting balls into the boxes. He's on set pieces. He has many, many routes to points. I love Pedro Porro. 5.7 million. Get him straight in your wild card. That is our 5 defenders. Let's move into the midfield. Starting off the midfield, maybe a little bit of a controversial pick here, but I've gone with Bukayo Saka. Now, with no Salah and no Son because of AFCON and the Asian Cup, we've got plenty of funds available to use in the team. And I just think with Saka, 0.39 XG, 0.32 XA isn't the worst data that we've seen from Saka. Again, I just think he's needing this winter break at the moment, this warm weather training that Arsenal are going on. You can see he's actually quite central in these areas here that he's creating opportunities for Arsenal. They're just not clinical at the moment between him, Jesus, Martinelli, Odegaard. They're not taking their chances. They've got a fantastic run of fixtures here. It wouldn't surprise me to see Saka go back to being on the majority of penalties as well, to get some, you know, confidence in him. He is someone I've brought into my team this week without using my wild card. I just think there's going to be a point where Saka's going to turn on. He's about 58, 59% owned as well, so it's a big risk to go without him. But I just think Saka, we know what he can deliver. Palace, Forest, Liverpool, West Ham, Burnley is a very good run, and he will absolutely kill your rank if you do not have Bukayo Saka. So definitely thinking about having Bukayo Saka in your team is a must. Someone else who is a must right now is Cole Palmer. Just Chelsea's main creative outlet at the moment. You're telling me you're going to get someone that's on penalties, who's playing as a 10. He started as a striker against Middlesbrough in the Carabao Cup semi-final this morning as well. Not the best fixtures, but he is a locked-in performer coming off of a big return against Luton before the FA Cup weekend. Cole Palmer is just someone for 5.7 million who's going to allow you to do so much with your team. The numbers are, he's matching Bukayo Saka. He's got better XG and he's 0.01 off the XA, and he's almost half the price. Cole Palmer just needs to be in your team if you do not own him whatsoever. Then we're moving into someone with a lot less ownership. Someone who I brought in last game week is Alejandro Garnacho. You might be saying, Paulie, what are you doing? Man United attackers. He's got better goal threat than Palmer and Bukayo Saka. He is Man United's main attacking outlet at the moment, and he's playing minutes. You can see that he's playing games. He's gone and got a 4 and a 14, a 2, a 3, a 2, a 4, a 2, and a 8. But again, it's at 4.8 million. What you get for 4.8 million is a fantastic option that you don't have to start every week. You can pick and choose the matchups. But look at some of this data here, shots in the box, 0.75. He is having so many shots at the moment as well, 0.78 shots. He is just, when you compare his numbers to everybody else, his numbers are very good. His shots on target is the issue. If he can start putting these shots on target, he's going to absolutely return big fantasy points for your team. And I think he could be a great point of difference for your midfielders. Someone else who I think can be a great point of difference is Pascal Gross. Again, similar to Cole Palmer, is matching and bettering Bukayo Saka's output at much less value. And look at his positions. He literally plays everywhere. De Zerbi uses Pascal Gross all over the pitch. He does not miss minutes. He's missed a few here when they've had big European games, but he just ticks along. You can see here 3, 2, 7, 1, 7, 12, 9. He just gets assists. He's in the right areas. He gets down the byline. I liked him before they moved into the diamond, but again, I think at 6.4 million, he's someone who you can take a punt on. If João Pedro's not on the pitch, he'll also take penalties. And again, same as Garnacho, you don't need to use Pascal Gross every single game. So I like him as a bit of a differential for your teams. Not many people are going to have Pascal Gross, and he tends to pop up with assists. So definitely be looking at him. My last midfielder is Jarrod Bowen. Now, you might be saying, Paulie, he's injured. Yes, at the moment, he has a concern with his ankle. Jarrod Bowen is someone who typically doesn't spend heaps of time on the sidelines with injuries. I sold him last time he got a knock, and he come back after one game, and he burnt me ever since. I've already brought him into my team. If he doesn't play against Sheffield United, yes, I'll be disappointed, but I think he'll be back for that Bournemouth game at worst case scenario. If you really don't, and if you're on a wild card, you've got the opportunity to wait until the deadline to see what we hear. If you get a bit shaken up by the injury and you're not sure what to do, I think Richarlison is probably the midfielder to go for here. You know that he's going to play. I know Timo Werner's come in, but worst case scenario, Richarlison plays on the left, and he's playing in a Spurs team that is really, really creative. Otherwise, the other options are a bit, you're sort of stretching at options. You're probably looking at Liverpool midfielders, like Luis Diaz as someone else instead of Jarrod Bowen. But for me, if fit, Jarrod Bowen is in this team 100%. He's playing up front for West Ham. We want players who are playing in forward areas because we know the returns that midfielders get for goals. Jarrod Bowen's got 11 goals already in 19 league games. That's just something that I want in my team. If he is deemed available, and we're not going to know this by the deadline because they do have a week off, I think they might just throw Bowen out there because they've got no Kudus, there's no Antonio. The options are quite thin for West Ham. I think Bowen gets up personally. Maybe I'm willing that because he's in my team, but Jarrod Bowen is someone without the injury that would 100% be in my midfield. We've got 3 more players to go. Let's finish off with our forwards. Kicking off the forwards is Ollie Watkins. Now, what I want to show you guys is his XG and XA is actually quite low for what we perceive Ollie Watkins to be. We can see he's got a 0.2 XG and a 0.18 XA. I just want to bring you back to Pascal Gross, 0.3 and 0.33 again. So he's outperforming Ollie Watkins. When we then look at Garnacho, 0.39 XG, outperforming Ollie Watkins. Even Bukayo Saka, everyone's saying that he's struggling. The numbers are not there for Ollie Watkins, but what we're getting from Watkins big haul potential. I know he had that big one in game week 7, but then he's gone 2, 2, 6, 5, 11. He's just someone that ticks along, gets his returns. Again, in this period where we've got no Salah, no Son, I think you can get away with having Ollie Watkins in your team. Everton, Newcastle, Sheffield, Man United, Fulham, a great run of 5 fixtures. Locked in 90 minutes at the moment for Aston Villa. Again, they're flying. They're not going to make too many changes. He won't take penalties, which is frustrating. But when you've got this type of money sitting there, I think you need to utilise it. Get Ollie Watkins in. The ownership's high. 8.9 million is a lot of money, but you're going to get burnt if he returns and you don't have him in your team. So that's the first of our 3 strikers. Then I've gone and put Dom Solanke in. The only thing you need to see is the 0.71 XG that this man has accumulated so far. He has so many routes to goals. He's a finisher on both feet. He can finish with his head. He's on penalties. He plays 90 minutes. Dom Solanke will be in my team for the rest of the season. He is just fixture proof. He's shown he can score in every type of fixture. I even like him at home to Liverpool. Liverpool's defence is a bit all over the place at the moment. Trent's under an injury cloud. There's no Simicast. There's no Robertson. Verge is sick. There's no Endo. There's no Salah. There's so many issues with Liverpool's team at the moment that it wouldn't surprise me if Solanke has a field day. Then he gets West Ham, Forest, Fulham, Newcastle, Man City, and then gets a great run of fixtures all the way up to pretty much game week 34. I just think Dom Solanke is the definition of a set and forget operator in your teams. I love him. Let me know in the comments if you've got Dom Solanke, but he needs to be in your teams. And the last player on this list is Erling Haaland. He's in the team. Erling Haaland is in the team. I just think you need to put him in. Even if he doesn't play against Newcastle, this wild card has enough depth in order to make this team work. So if he becomes auto-subbed out for a Garnacho for this week, it's not the end of the world. I think whilst you've got a route to Erling Haaland, you need to utilise it. So I think he's just a very much set and forget player, perma-captain when he's back fit. See what happens with this Newcastle fixture. If he plays against Newcastle, lock him in for the rest of the season against Burnley, especially in game week 22. But that is the team. It should leave you roughly between 3.5. It leaves me with 3.8 million in the bank. I've got a lot of team value through some price rises throughout the season, but you should have about 3 million. And what that gives you is flexibility to get back to someone like Mohamed Salah. You just move Saka out, or you change your defense a little bit and take some money out of Trippier or out of Kyle Walker or out of Gabriel, and you just bring in a couple options. So you should be able to, over a few weeks, get guys like that back in. Plus, you can utilise some of that money to get back, say, a Maddison or even a Son if you need to, by taking like a Watkins out and downgrading him, you know, to a Darwin Núñez or all the way even to an Archer to get money back. So there's routes back to those premium options. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are of my wildcard team. That is going to be the side. Please leave a like, make sure you get in the comments and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for my Game Week 21 team selection.